welcome the viewers here to watch us on ERi-TV, presenting you the domestic and international news prepared for this session live from our headquarters in Asmara. I'm Hermela Gurmai, inviting you to join us on our tonight's news broadcast. Let's start with the major headlines. Eritrea participates at 39th Ordinary Session of African Union. Monetary support to National Association of Eritrean War Disabled Veterans. Hamas rejects Netanyahu 60-day ultimatum for group to disarm. And British Prime Minister pledged to boost defense spending to 3% of GDP. On your domestic and brief. An Eritrean delegation led by Mr. Binyam Berhe charged the affairs at the Eritrean embassy in Ethiopia and Eritrea's permanent representative to the African Union and the Economic Commission for Africa participated in the 39th Ordinary Session of the African Union convened in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia on 14th and 15th February. The session was conducted under the theme Assuring Sustainable Water Availability and Safe Sanitation to Achieve the Goals of Agenda 2063. At the event, the Eritrean delegation provided a briefing on the stance of the Eritrean government, focusing on the main agenda of the session in general, particularly on reform, ensuring peace and security, cooperation, and the newly proposed annual contributions of member states. The Eritrean delegation also urged Africa at this time of changing global order to thoroughly review and design programs based on available opportunities to ensure its rightful place, safeguard its peace and security, address socio-economic challenges, and align resources for the betterment of its people. The session adopted various resolutions and guidelines. According to the proposal to elect individuals and countries to represent the African Union in various global forums, Eritrea was elected to serve as one of the deputy presidents of the 81st session of the United Nations General Assembly. The session for the third time condemned the unilateral sanctions imposed on Eritrea, South Sudan, and Zimbabwe, and called for their immediate lifting. The session also condemned the unilateral recognition of Israel to Somaliland and adopted a resolution supporting the sovereignty and territorial integrity of Somalia. The 39th Ordinary Session of the African Union elected a new executive body, and President Evariste Ndayishimiye of Burundi was elected as chairman of the African Union for 2026. On the sidelines of the session, the Eritrean delegation met and held talks with various delegations focusing on strengthening bilateral relations and cooperations. On 14th February, Mr. Binyam Berhe met with the President of the African Development Bank, Mr. Sidi Ould-Tah. At the meeting, Mr. Binyam expressed Eritrea's readiness to strengthen the existing partnership with the Development Bank. Mr. Sidi Ould-Tah, on his part, stated that he would exert strong efforts to expand the ongoing partnership between Eritrea and the bank. The Eritrean delegation also met and held discussions focusing on strengthening bilateral relations and cooperations with representatives of Germany and Portugal, as well as with the director of the African Energy Commission. The Eritrean delegation, led by Mr. Binyam Berhe, also participated in the Africa-Italy conference, convened on 13th February. Dr. Solomon Gebredingil, a national residing in Houston, USA, extended over $30,000 in support of the National Association of Eritrean War Disabled Veterans. At a ceremony organized today at the central office of the association, Dr. Solomon said that he raised the funds during his participation in the Houston Marathon on 11th January. He also indicated that he will continue extending support through joining Haben Eri-TV, an Eritrean association in the United States. According to a report from the National Association of Eritrean War Disabled Veterans, members of the association's branch in Melbourne, Australia, contributed 140,000 nakfa, while the Eritrean community in Palermo, Italy, contributed 74,498 nakfa in support of the National Association. A festival aimed at preserving the traditional culture of society commenced in San'afe subzone on 15th February. The festival was organized in collaboration with the National Union of Eritrean Youth and Students and the San'afe subzone administration. Mr. Habtaab Negasi, head of the union branch in the subzone, indicated that the months-long festival will feature various competitions including traditional songs, folklore, traditional sports, traditional village settings, creativity and innovation, as well as competitions between red flowers. The organizers of the festival, on their part, stated that the objective of the festival, the first of its kind, is to identify the rich traditional culture of society, transfer it to the young generation, and lay the foundation for the further in-depth research and documentation of the culture. Calling for the sustainability of the program with a view to preserving and documenting the traditional culture of society, Mr. Idris Ali Shikar, administrator of the subzone, urged parents to play a leading role in transmitting noble societal values to the younger generation. Dear viewers, do stay tuned for our international news right after the short break. Welcome back. Hamas has rejected remarks by an Israeli government official calling for the Gaza-based group to disarm in 60 days and claims to resume war if it fails to comply. The second phase of the ceasefire agreement began in mid-January, in which the US says it will tackle the disarmament of Hamas and the deployment of an international peacekeeping force. Earlier this month, Hamas's political leader abroad rejected calls to disarm Palestinian factions in Gaza, arguing that stripping weapons from an occupied people would turn them into an easy victim to be eliminated. Israel's war in Gaza since October 2023 has killed more than 72,000 people, including thousands of children. Israel's war has continued despite a US-brokered ceasefire that began in October, with more than 600 Palestinians killed since it took effect. According to authorities in Gaza, Israel has neglected the ceasefire 1,520 times. In addition to the near-daily killing of Palestinians, Israel also severely restricts quantities of food, medicine, medical supplies, shelter, materials, and prefabricated houses entering Gaza, where some 2 million Palestinians, including 1.5 million displaced, live in catastrophic condition. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer yesterday pledged to accelerate defense spending increase to 3% of national economic output by 2029, meeting an existing target earlier than planned. Starmer said the UK's defense spending plans depend on coordination and cooperation with like-minded countries, particularly in Europe. The Labour Party leader has sought to improve ties with the European Union since taking office in 2024, as Brexit has strained relations with European allies. Last year, the UK announced to lift annual defense expenditure to 2.5% of the gross domestic product by 2027, with an ambition to reach 3% by 2029. Dear viewers, we are done with the news prepared for the session, and now it's time for a quick recap of the major headlines. Eritrea participates at 39th Ordinary Session of African Union. Monetary support to National Association of Eritrean War Disabled Veterans. Hamas rejects Netanyahu aides 60-day ultimatum for group to disarm. And British Prime Minister pledged to boost defense spending to 3% of GDP. Ladies and gentlemen, that was all for tonight. Thank you for having us and have a blessed one.